I like the Salesforce guy because that's my favorite app. I run sales at Verizon, and we keep a lot of good information running through our systems. Serving government like you, Ann.
Thank you.
And welcome to everybody this morning. So we've got a clock here. I want to make this as impactful as possible. And trust me, this was already been screened by Ann, so these should go real smooth. So EPA is pushing for digital transformation. Full disclosure. Particularly in the realm of agile development and digital services. Can you give me an example of what your digital team is working on, Ann, and the results you've seen, and how important culture is to this effort?
Yeah, sure. I've been talking about the same projects a lot, and I'm going to keep talking about them because we're continuing to work on them. We have some other new and exciting things, but I'm not sure we're quite ready for prime time on those yet, or at least I'm not quite well enough educated to talk about them yet. So we continue to work on eManifest, which is going to change the way that we manage the transportation of hazardous waste across the country, and that's been a real opportunity for us to focus on user experience, right? Because we started this project and we didn't understand what the user wanted. And so this was a great example of how to really put customer experience first. We've also been working on the e-enterprise portal, which really changes the way we work with the regulated community, the states and the tribes. And every 3 months, like clockwork, we're putting out new features, we're integrating existing features, and we're doing really exciting stuff like we're integrating an app from New Hampshire on well water. So we're taking their well quality app, we're integrating the enterprise portal, and the way they have architected that app, any state or tribe can now pick up that app, put their own configuration data, their own rules, and they can use that app too in our portal. So you can go to the app and you can look at well water quality for any state that has decided to participate. So there's some really exciting projects that are going on, but more importantly, we're building out the infrastructure in terms of processes, tools, and governance we need to do this. So we're building our agile acquisition vehicles, which I know a lot of people have been very interested in, and those are still in progress for those of you who want to bid on those. We're also got our innovation fellowship. We've got some innovation fellows in now. We've got some more that we're interviewing right now, so that's kicking up, so we're able to do consulting and support across the organization. We did our reorganization that builds an organization that matches the new processes and capabilities we want, so organizational structure reinforces that. So we got a lot of really exciting things that are going on in that space. But culture, as you mentioned, is hugely important, right? I could do all of these things, but if I don't change my culture, they're not really going to be successful.
It was interesting how you associated the work you're doing with the ultimate end goal, providing clean, healthy well water. I have to believe that helps the culture at the EPA, the higher calling of delivering healthy well water to children in the United States.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have lots of really great people at EPA, and a part of the reason why we do is just like any government agency, we have a compelling mission, right? Our mission, we think, is really compelling. We think it's more compelling than some, but you know that's why people work at EPA, right? Because they think that's the great mission. People want to create clean water, clean land, clean air, and great communities.
And you know, working at Verizon, and I know many of our business partners here in the room, our way of contributing to that mission is giving you the technology to help you enable it. So transition here quickly to cyber. Certainly a discussion topic. That fire is really warm. And maybe it's because it's 80 degrees out or something. I don't know. Or the lamp behind me. I think it looks great though. Cybersecurity is all that we read about now in the headlines. And you know, cliche question, what keeps you up at night around cyber and security with the EPA?
Yeah, you know, cybersecurity, the hardest thing about cybersecurity is there are always going to be more people out there attacking you with more time, more money, more resources than you have to defend yourself, right? So, you know, the first thing is to build good defenses, but you've also got to assume that you've been hacked. Now, I'm not saying that we have been. I'm saying you have to behave as if you've been hacked. And you've got to have all the ability to detect and respond and mitigate those issues so that when you do have an issue, you can very quickly resolve it and you can mitigate the damage. But what really worries me, frankly, is the bombardment of attacks against our end users, right? The attacks on our end users are getting more and more sophisticated, and our ability to educate our end users is probably not keeping up with the ability of the hackers. And what you get now is people are talking about cyber fatigue, right? People are tired of dealing with security, and in some cases they're getting very lax about it because they're so tired of it. So we have to keep this constant barrage of messages up We have to educate people on the new issues, and then we have to continue to build all our defenses, which we are, I think, doing a very good job of. But it's just a constant, arms race to keep up with it.
And I know you're collaborating well across government, particularly with the White House and with DHS. And I know industry is here to help. One of the fastest growing segments of my business at Verizon is our managed security services, helping you detect at the edge and then mitigate and respond when needed. So we're there with you, and I know a lot of the partners here in this room are with you as well. So how do you stay ahead of emerging technologies, and as well as what your peers maybe are implementing to solve similar problems as to you have at the EPA? In industry, I love it when I can replicate a solution that I've already implemented that's proven to deliver ROI and is enabled the mission. I can then go from agency to agency or department to department. Look what we did here, we can do it for you too. Do you like that approach?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, talking about how to keep up with things. I mean, I used to be much better about reading broadly and digging into other industries and even playing with things. And as anyone who's close to federal CIOs know, that this job is like 24/7. It's hard to find time to do that. But what we do a really good job of is collaborating across agencies, where we have, the CIOs get together, the CFO agency CIOs get together, the small agency CIOs get together. We have formal meetings, we have informal meetings, we have events like this, where we manage to, catch each other in and out as we're all running from one place to another. And we talk about what we're working on and what we can share. And we do a lot of that. And then at the CIO Council in particular, we try and find more structured opportunities where we can really share capabilities. And we're having robust conversations about things like, how do we make it easier to create ATOs by sharing capabilities? How do we make it easier to collaborate by working together to change how the TIC supports us? So we're looking at very different opportunities to work together, but and sometimes that's a lot of agencies, sometimes that's just a couple agencies getting together and saying, let's share this, but we're constantly having those conversations.
We do a few things. We train our sales teams to ensure that they're educated on what's happening within the other agencies so they can go out and tell the story. We also have a pretty strong, what we call executive briefing program, where we bring in industry partners to help tell our story as well as government customers. In many cases, government clients are interested in how Verizon itself as a corporation, a global corporation, is solving some of the problems, and I know we're very willing and able to continue to do that.
Well, absolutely. When we meet with our vendors, right, so we want to know about their strategy, their technology roadmap, but we also often want to know how do you do things yourself in IT? How do you solve the problems? I just wish that as a CIO there were enough time to talk to all the vendors I'd like to talk to, right?
We just talk to Verizon. We'll give you all the answers.
Perfect, Mike. Good deal. Tomorrow, we'll do that.
Next question. She's a great customer. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the upcoming presidential transition without talking about politics. How do you expect the transition to impact federal IT?
That's really interesting because there's actually a relatively small number of CIOs who are political. So there's going to be a lot of continuity, much of the CIO community, but there are several of us, including myself, who are political appointees and who will be leaving. So those agencies are going to be more impacted. I think we've all been trying to prepare our agencies. I know I've been trying to prepare mine. I was able to hire a permanent deputy CIO just a few months ago, and I hired him with the transition in mind. Someone who could carry the agency forward for potentially 2 years before there's a new CIO in place. We've also worked very hard at institutionalizing all the things that we've been doing. So I mentioned the reorganization. We've also done our governance work. We've built structures across the agency that will help us keep going on the processes that we've got in place and try and avoid a complete reset, because that's what we really don't want. Is we don't want all this work people are doing to do modernization to fall by the wayside when we have a new administration. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think that any administration that comes in is going to recognize the importance of IT modernization, the importance of saving money in IT, and of being more secure. So no matter who's in the White House...
It's hard to argue with those points.
Yes, it is. And so, that's just not a partisan issue, right? So I think no matter who's in the White House, we'll be able to successfully carry those things forward. And I think almost every agency is preparing so that if the political folks are leaving, that transition is in place.
Makes sense.
So can I ask you?
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, your turn to ask me now.
Oh, yeah. So my question, of course, because, You know, we say a lot.
Extra special credit for this one.
Yeah, he didn't pay me, I promise. We say a lot in the federal government that we're not very good customers, right? Our procurement processes are time-consuming and expensive. So how can we be better customers within the rules we have to live with?
Oh, thanks for asking. And no one has a gun to our head at Verizon to serve the federal government business. We're honored and privileged to help you enable your mission. And we've got smart people that have long-standing relationships, great contract vehicles, and proven technology to help get you what you need. So again, we are very privileged by the business that we do in the federal and overall public sector space. You mentioned a couple things which I think we can continue to work on and do better. Sharing of proven implemented solutions. We're a publicly traded corporation with shareholders and boards of directors that require us not only to grow, but to grow profitably. And if I can implement more commercially available solutions that were already in place for our largest enterprise customers across healthcare, transportation, manufacturing, Fortune 100 companies, if I can implement those in government without too much extra special sauce on top, that would be helpful. If I can get more collaboration across agencies of similar needs so we can replicate proven solutions, that would help. And a continued amount of early and often communication and transparency so we know exactly what you need. But you also have an open ear so we can advise you on how Verizon's solving these problems, how other departments are solving these problems, and how enterprise across America or across the globe are solving these problems. I think transparency, trusted relationships, and great communication something to always continue to focus on. So
That's great. So we got 26 seconds left.
I don't know any dance numbers or jokes. So anybody have a question from the audience? Goldie's going to kill me for asking that. So thank you for all of our partners in the room. Thank you for all of our customers in the room. Verizon really does value the business that we do in this space, and great customers like Ann help us get there every day.
Just to be clear, you know, I just say, oh, we awarded to Verizon? Great. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.